This is Thank You Mama weekly lessons from mothers all around the world. Both my husband and I talk to our son a lot about the human trait, I would even call it a curse, of getting used to good things very quickly and very quickly wanting something better, something more, something different. I think what goes hand in hand is our incapability of celebrating the normal and understanding that when things are just normal or okay, that is actually great. And I'm trying to instill this into my son. And when we do our gratitudes, I talk about that a lot. The problem generally is also that we tend to navel gaze or be self-obsessed or look at a small picture and concentrate too much on us and our lives and our issues. And that leads to blowing them out of proportion very, very often. And every now and then the universe does send us a message or gives us a little nudge because it wants us to take a few steps back and look at ourselves and our lives from a healthy distance. My mom was also trying to teach me this, and she said when you're not feeling well and when you're unhappy, imagine you took off and flew a few 100 meters above yourself right now and look at yourself from above, from that distance, and look at other people and their lives and look at the world, and you will see how relative it all is. That's very, very healthy. And again, every now and then the universe does give us a little nudge in this direction. And when we do that, we see that there are people who have bigger challenges, other challenges, and we see that actually maybe things we're dealing with are just normal, everyday human existence things and not such big dramas. As my mom would say, Anna, don't cry, that too is life. So today's guest, beautiful Tammie Denyse. I am so grateful that she came on the show and she was willing to share her incredible stories and her lessons and her mom's lessons, because she really does make you take a few steps back and look back at yourself and your life and realize maybe, hopefully, things are not as bad. Enjoy listening. Hi and welcome to Thank You Mama. My name is Anna Teider. My guest today is Tammie Denyse. And Tammie is a cancer survivor and the founder of Carrie's Touch and author of The Power of Hope, Reclaiming Your Life After Tragedy. Tammie, hi and welcome.
Hi, Anna. Thank you for having me.
I am very excited you're here. We've been trying to connect for quite a while, haven't we? And
Yes, we have.
Life always happens in between.
Yes, it does.
So I'm very, very excited. We're finally talking because you have a very special story and a very special project, and I'm very excited to talk about all these topics. Do you want to tell me about yourself first? And I would like to hear your own story and your story of survival.
So that's a big question. Tomorrow, I will be 60 years old, and I'd like to look at my life in decades. It's like from the first decade, first 10 years, second 10 years, and things like that. And within each of those decades, unfortunately, I have suffered major tragedies. So when we talk about, my life and overcoming and the survivor, I'm a survivor of life. I am a survivor of breast cancer. I am a survivor of being a product of domestic violence. I am, a survivor of losing a child. I am a survivor of divorce. So my story is vast, but I am grateful that I get to come on podcasts like yours and say, I am a survivor.
Thank you thank you for coming and thank you for talking about it
Hmm.
because it helps people who go through that.
Yeah, yeah.
Congratulations on surviving.
Sometimes we wear the the badge of survivorship proudly, but no one wants to be in those clubs of
No,
survivorship
no, no.
because they're not easy. I'm grateful to be alive. As I age, my body changes and I have different deficiencies that I didn't
Mm,
have the year before. But I always say, I thank God for the gift of life and the gift of long life because there are people that, in my own personal um, family did not see 60 years.
yeah.
So I'm still grateful, but I don't take that gratitude lightly. As if I'm running across a finish line with my fist pumping in the air saying that I'm a survivor. It was hard and it took a lot from me and it requires a lot every single day to get up and to find purpose in that day.
Mm. There's a saying that what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And I am a survivor on a much smaller scale than you are. I escaped from a war and survived a very difficult back surgery when I was little. Much
Mhm.
smaller scale. But I feel what you're saying, that they say what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. I always say what doesn't kill you leaves scars.
I
As you,
love that.
yeah, as you say, we're not proud of being survivors because
Hmm.
we can feel these scars and they hurt.
Yes, yes.
But
Yeah.
yeah, but they're there, and it's amazing. We are still here. It's awesome you are here.
I love that you said, what doesn't kill you leaves scars. Like I said, I don't wear the badge of survivorship with
Yeah,
great
yeah.
pride, and I don't wear the badge of strength either. So I don't want to be stronger. If I have a choice to not be this strong, I'm going
I
to
know,
take
I know.
less strong. And the other thing is, I don't weigh trauma or I don't weigh pain. I say
Mm,
all the time, just because I don't have a broken leg, it doesn't mean my paper cut doesn't hurt. Have you ever
that's
had a
true.
paper cut? It's pretty
Yes, yeah,
painful.
I know, I know, I
you
know,
know,
I know.
um, the recovery isn't as long as it
Mm,
is with a broken leg, but the pain and the brain neurologically doesn't know the difference between the broken leg or the paper cut. It just resonates with pain. So there's no weight to it, right?
yep.
We don't have to get into suffering Olympics of who has the greatest. None of us want it. None
Mm,
of us
none of us
deserve
want
it,
it. No, no,
right?
no.
And so just because I have had more experiences, that does not mean that the trauma that you experienced did not impact you and shape your life. I mean,
Mm,
that's likely why you do what you're doing now.
mm. Timmy, before we start talking about Mama Carrie, how you are a breast cancer survivor, how
Hmm.
long have you been clear?
Yeah, I'm so excited to say this number. 20 years.
Oh, congratulations. That's
Thank you.
fantastic.
It
That's
is
something
very
to be
fantastic.
celebrated. Yes, congratulations to
Absolutely.
that.
Especially when I was first diagnosed, my doctor said that I wouldn't live see my 5-year cancer anniversary. And here I am 20
Oh,
years
that's
later.
beautiful.
I
You
mean,
see,
I go
that
ahead.
spreads hope.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I thank
Yeah.
God. I thank my phenomenal medical team. I thank
Mm,
my family. I thank my community. I am just thankful overall because no one survives alone. We all
no,
survive
exactly.
in community, and sometimes community becomes our family. I try to encourage women, and especially women of color, to reach out and let people help us.
Mm,
Unfortunately, society has forced Black women in particular to feel like we have to always be strong and we have to always be perfect. And if we show any sign of imperfection, it's been equated to weakness. And
Mm-hmm.
that couldn't be furthest from the truth. We are all dynamic women and we all have gifts and strengths and talents as well as weaknesses, but that does not mean that we are weak. So I am grateful for the team, the community that came together to fight for my life so that I could still be here 20 years later.
And this is where we nicely come to Carrie's Touch, don't we?
Yes,
So you
yes.
created this community for Black women to support them when they go through experiencing cancer.
Yes, my late sister and I co-founded Carrie's Touch because when I was diagnosed, again, all of the information that I was being told, anything that I read on the internet, 20 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
wasn't what it is today. And any information I found said that it was a very high chance that I would die from this disease. I was young, it had already spread, and it just was it was a hard journey. So I was trying to find people that looked like me that survived, and I
Mm.
couldn't find it. And I knew I wanted to survive. I knew I needed to survive, and I knew that I needed to find um, the community that was going to help me do that. I did find that, but they were nowhere near me. And again, the internet wasn't what it is now, so I just didn't have that connection. And I wanted to create a place that for women that looked like me who were also being served by women that looked like me.
Mm.
So, yeah, we co-founded Carrie's Touch, and today Carrie's Touch is 18 years old. We started it 2 years after my breast cancer journey, and I say that that's important because I often say that a breast cancer journey, the first year, it's a physical fight because it's typically surgery, chemotherapy,
Mm-hmm.
radiation,
Mm-hmm.
all of the physical
Mm-hmm.
parts. And then the second year is the emotional journey because
Mm-hmm.
year one, things happen so quickly and so excessively. You don't have a moment to just grasp what's happening. And in year two, it all comes rushing in like a flood. And you are in this emotional distress, just trying to find out what just happened. And not only what just happened, how do I get back to where I was?
Yeah.
And the reality is that you don't go back to where you were because you're not that person anymore. The
Mm.
person before this journey didn't have breast cancer. The person before this journey didn't go through, surgery, chemotherapy, radiation, hair loss, lose your fingertips turning black, nausea, all of the things that come along with that journey. So you can't go back there.
Yeah.
And then the hospital just kind of haphazardly throws out this frame, new normal. This is your new normal. And you're like, what?
Yeah.
What do you mean new normal? What is that? Right. And so Carrie's Touch wanted to teach women how to embrace what was, give them space to mourn what was, and
Mm.
help them see that the new normal gets to be the new that they want to create it to be. And so it's about empowering women to take control of their lives versus succumbing to things that happen to us.
That is beautiful, Tammie. It's so beautiful that you're doing this. And I can imagine many people being grateful, many women being grateful for this community to exist.
Yes.
Um,
Yes. Women and men.
mhm. Tammie, I will ask you, you can totally tell me you don't want to talk about it. I didn't
Hmm.
know you lost your child.
Oh, yeah, I
What
did. I
what
did.
what, ha- what happened there?
Yeah.
If you don't want to talk about it, that is totally okay. We can talk
No,
about it. your mom?
Yeah, they kind of go together, so it's
Okay.
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 I'm ready. Um, yeah, my 11 years ago, my baby child, he was 21 years old, and his life was taken by gun violence.
Oh no.
So it was very, very tragic. 2013 was a difficult, difficult year for me. I lost my sister, who was the co-founder of Carrie's Touch. I had a major back surgery. I was bedridden for 4 months. I lost my estranged dad. I hadn't talked to my dad in 5 years. Um, didn't even know where he was. But I lost him. And then 6 weeks after that, I lost my baby child.
No.
And it was an interesting parallel because I my survival, I was so traumatized that my survival techniques mimicked my survival techniques of when I lost my mom at age 11.
Mm-hmm.
I went back to that time and that place mentally and emotionally. And it was reminding myself that I survived that horrific incident
Mm.
because my mom lost her life to gun violence as well.
Mm.
So it was reminding myself that I possessed within me the capacity and the capability to survive this too. I didn't know how I was going to do it. I didn't know, what it was going to look like, what it was going to feel like. And for many, many years, immediately after, I felt like I didn't even know if it was possible.
Yeah.
I was so distraught. It's the worst thing ever. It makes
Mm.
breast cancer feel like a
Yeah.
birthday party.
A birthday party. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But I have to say, 11 years later, the pain is still there. I
Mm-hmm.
just manage it, with therapy, with God, with prayer, and the same community I created with Carrie's Touch for breast cancer. I created that community for myself with, navigating life after the loss of a child.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm terribly sorry about these horrible,
Mhm,
horrible experiences.
mhm,
I want to underline community. I'm taking
mhm.
this as a big lesson from you, how important community is and how
Yes.
important the sharing of life experiences,
Mhm,
may they be good or bad, is with people, with other people around
mhm.
us. And
Yeah, it is.
that's the net that carries, the safety net that helps us to survive all this life.
Yeah, my faith teaches me that, right? I am a follower of Jesus Christ, and I make that distinction from the term Christianity because it so much has a negative connotation these days, but it does not minimize my love for God, for Jesus Christ, and that is my faith tradition. I don't deny or denounce that.
Mm,
But every time God did something, said something major for any person in the Bible to do anything, God always sent them out in community, family plus all of the others is community. And you become family. Family isn't just those that share the same blood, it's those who you choose to do life with.
yeah, yeah. Amy, let's talk about Mama Carrie.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we want to quickly learn from her.
Yes.
What is her life story? It's also very sad, but
Hmm.
we can share her story and inspire other women.
Yeah. My mom did not know that she had the power to say no.
Yeah.
She didn't know that she had the power to say no to her parents, who forced her into a marriage because she was pregnant and unwed. She didn't know that she could say no to a man who chose to disrespect her and chose to use violence against her to control her. And when she did say no, at that point it was it was too late, and he ultimately took her life. But the lessons I take away from her, I had her for a very short time, but the lessons I take away from her are lessons that taught me to love unconditionally,
Mm.
lessons that taught me to take care of others. She always taught me, take care of your siblings, take care of your siblings, take care of your siblings. Even on her deathbed, she
Mm.
said to me, take care of your brothers and your sister.
How
And I
many
think that's
brothers and
what I'm,
sisters do you have?
yeah, well, that's a whole long story with my
Mhm.
mom.
Okay.
You invite me back. But with my mom, I have two brothers and one sister, and I'm the eldest of the four of us.
Hmm.
But beyond that, I take that into the work that I do with Carrie's Touch.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
are our brother and our sister's keepers, and I am here to take care of my sisters.
Mm.
Hmm.
Do you have other lessons? You didn't say it, but I wrote down you can say no
Hmm.
as a lesson. And we have loving unconditionally. You sent me love shouldn't hurt, which we are also
Yeah.
taking from her story. Do you have any other lessons you feel you've
Yeah.
learned from her in spite of having had her for only 11 years?
Yeah, yeah, and I started saying that love shouldn't hurt because she loved a man that didn't love her back and hurt
Yeah.
her,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's not the godly love that I know of,
No.
right? I believe that my faith is what it is because her refuge was going to church and learning about God and teaching her children who God is and how God protects us and covers us, even in the midst of turbulent situations. I didn't know that as a child, but I know that as an adult. And I think, at 11, that's what I take away from my mom. I don't
Yeah.
have to take away much to know that she loved me, loved us, loved the people around her unconditionally.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
lesson in that is married to love shouldn't hurt. We can love unconditionally, but if it hurts, seek advice. If you're in a domestically violent situation, seek seek counsel, create a plan to get out safely. My mom didn't know that. She didn't know she needed to create a plan to get out safely.
No.
So create a plan to get out safely and know that you are worthy of someone who loves you and values you and will honor you.
Oh, Tammy, thank you so much for sharing this. It's really
Yes.
inspiring because there are so many women who suffer from abusive relationships, and I think it's so
Mm-hmm.
important to remind them there's a way out, and there's counsel, there's support. You have to reach out, and that is so important to remind them of. I always ask at the end of our interviews if there was anything. It's a little tricky because you lost your mom when you were so young. I asked
Mm-hmm.
you, is there anything you wish your mother has taught you? Is there anything important you learned by
Mm-hmm.
yourself? It's important for new mothers to, I think, to
Mm-hmm.
hear from women what daughters wish they learned from their mothers.
It's an interesting response. I learned about forgiveness. I harbored a lot of anger, even at my mom,
Yeah.
after she died and died in the way that she did and
Hmm.
endured what she did. I couldn't understand it. Why did she stay? And I've heard that a lot of victims of domestic violence, people ask them, "Why did you stay? Why did you stay?" Well, and I've learned that it's not so easy to get out.
Yeah.
If it were, more women would just pack up and leave. It's not that easy. And in the loss of her, I learned forgiveness. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know that there's a lesson that I wish I could have learned while she was here. I was so young, but in my adult life, I learned to forgive her. There came a time that I had a different father than my siblings.
Mm-hmm.
And so he is the man that murdered our mom.
Mm-hmm.
And when he was released from prison,
Mm-hmm.
I was faced with a difficult choice to help guide them to reconciliation with the man
Oh
that
God, that
actually took the life
oh,
of our mom. Yeah. And so forgiveness, it was learning to forgive and what that looks like and how do we forgive and still remain whole ourselves.
that is so huge.
Yeah. And the forgiveness is not for the person. The forgiveness is for us to have
Exactly.
peace.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
forgiveness is to help heal our wounds
Mm-hmm.
so that we talked about scars, to
Mm-hmm.
heal those scars, to put cocoa butter and
Yeah.
vitamin E on those scars, to
Yeah.
soften them up, to lessen the markings of those scars. And learning that helped me to live in peace.
Yeah. Absolutely. Tammie, thank you so much. You shared
Thank
so
you.
many incredible lessons and so inspiring. Thank you for the work you're doing for women. I will put a link to Carrie's touch in the episode notes if anybody wants to look at what you're doing or support in
Yeah,
any shape or form.
wonderful.
And thank you for saying yes and being my guest. You are so beautiful. You are a gift to all of us. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It took us a while to get here,
It
but I'm
did, but
glad that we persevered, and I
we
think
did.
that we are both better, and prayerfully your listeners will be better as well.
Yes, yes, we will. I will absolutely. I can't wait to start editing this and go through everything you're saying again and make my notes and learn yet
Yes.
again from you. Thank you,
Thank you
Timmy.
so
Thank you
very
so
much.
much.
Okay, take care.
Take care. If you enjoy Thank You Mama and want to help it grow, please take the 2 seconds to leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. It really helps. If you'd like to get in touch, you can send me a mail at info@thankyoumama.net. You can also find me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter under Anna Teider, that's Tajder. This was Thank You Mama. Come back next week, subscribe, and tell your friends.